Back in the 1950s and 60s, car designers weren't just thinking about the road, they were thinking about the galaxy. This was the space age when everyone believed the future would land any second. Jet engines, rocket tails, bubble domes. Cars didn't just drive, they looked ready to launch. Forget subtlety. These machines were rolling sci-fi dreams, designed when imagination had no brakes and chrome was a religion. Today, we're diving into the era when cars looked more like UFOs than vehicles, and every driveway looked like a scene from the Jetsons. Number 4, the car that looked like it didn't drive out of a factory, it landed from orbit. Meet the 1955 Lincoln Futura, the gleaming white dream machine that looked like a spaceship on 4 wheels. When it rolled out at the Chicago Auto Show, jaws hit the floor. No one had seen anything like it. Transparent bubble canopy, double tail fins, and a body so exaggerated, it looked like it was sculpted by a sci-fi movie director on too much caffeine. Built by Ford's visionary designers and crafted by the legendary Carrozzeria Ghia in Italy. The Futura wasn't just a concept, it was a prophecy. The future of cars. In 1955. Imagine this, 2 clear domes over the driver and passenger like astronaut helmets, with air vents bubbling out of the sides. The dashboard was covered in chrome and lights that glowed like a cockpit. Even the tires looked futuristic, hidden under sleek arches that made it seem as if the car hovered just above the road. And the color, a shimmering pearlescent white that changed shades in sunlight, thanks to crushed fish scales mixed into the paint. Yes, fish scales, the same shimmer you'd see on a mermaid's tail. Inside, the steering wheel was transparent, the controls futuristic, and everything screamed tomorrow. This wasn't just a car, it was a message. The future is closer than you think. But here's where it gets legendary. After dazzling the world, the Futura disappeared into storage for years, forgotten, dusty, and unloved, until Hollywood came knocking. When TV producer George Barris needed a car that looked like it came straight from a comic book for a new 1960s show called Batman, Ford handed him the keys to this old space-age relic. And just like that, the Lincoln Futura was reborn as the most iconic car in television history, the Batmobile. Those same bubble canopies became Batman's roof. The massive fins became wings. A rocket-like body got black paint and red pinstripes, and the rest was pop culture history. From futuristic prototype to superhero legend, the Lincoln Futura had lived 2 lives. In the 1950s, it was the car of tomorrow. In the 1960s, it became the ride of a hero. Today, only one exists, and every time someone looks at it, they don't see a car, they see an idea. A reminder of when designers didn't fear imagination, they drove it. At number 3, we're leaving the streets and heading straight for the skies. Because the GM Firebird XP21 wasn't just a car, it was an airplane pretending to have a midlife crisis. Picture this, a sleek white missile on wheels with a fighter jet nose, needle-sharp tail, and a bubble cockpit straight out of a Cold War sci-fi film. No grille, no headlights, just pure aerodynamics that screamed top-secret project. In 1953, when everyone else was polishing chrome and talking horsepower, General Motors said, "Forget engines, let's use a jet turbine." And that's exactly what they did. Under that futuristic fiberglass shell was an actual Whirlfire gas turbine engine, the same tech that powered airplanes. It spun at 26,000 RPM and screamed like a fighter jet. The Firebird didn't purr, it howled. You didn't drive it, you piloted it. When test drivers fired it up, the exhaust blasted like a rocket, and it needed special permission from airfields just to run safely. It wasn't road legal, it was road legendary. The cockpit had a joystick instead of a steering wheel, switches everywhere, and a gauge cluster that looked like it belonged in a B-52 bomber. The driver sat under a clear dome wrapped in heat-resistant material. Because the turbine made the inside so hot it could roast your shoes. No one complained though, because it felt like sitting inside tomorrow. GM wasn't joking around either. They actually called the Firebird XP21 America's first gas turbine car. But the goal wasn't to sell it, it was to show off, to prove that GM wasn't just making cars, they were building dreams. Number 2. A car so far ahead of its time, even today's designers are still trying to catch up. This wasn't just a car, it was a prophecy on wheels. A rolling science fiction exhibit called the Ford Seattle Light 21. The year was 1962. The space race was on, technology was booming, and humanity was obsessed with the future. So when Ford was invited to showcase something at the Seattle World's Fair, they didn't bring a car, they brought a vision of the 21st century. Imagine walking into that expo hall and seeing this alien creature. 6 wheels, yes, 6 for tiny ones in front that turn together for precision steering, and 2 massive ones at the back for power. The body, it looked like liquid chrome, molded by an alien engineer. The front end glowed like a spaceship with a pointed nose that could split air like a blade. And then, Ford said, you can remove the front of the car. That's right, the entire cockpit detached from the rest of the body like a futuristic pod. Imagine parking your car, popping off the nose section, and cruising away in your mini capsule. That's how wild the Seattle Light 21 was. But the real insanity was in the technology they imagined. Ford predicted a digital navigation system, computer-assisted driving, interchangeable power modules, and a propulsion system that could someday be powered by fuel cells or nuclear energy. Remember, this was 1962. People were still using rotary phones and black and white TVs. And finally, at number 1, the king of the future. The only car in history that could run on perfume, tequila, and even peanut oil. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chrysler turbine car, the vehicle that proved the future, didn't just have fins and domes. It had a jet engine under the hood. In the early 1960s, Chrysler engineers were obsessed with one question: what if cars didn't use pistons, but turbines? So they built a machine that didn't hum at word, a smooth, high-pitched sound like an airplane ready for takeoff. The Chrysler turbine car looked sleek, bronze, and alien, with afterburner tailpipes glowing in the rear and a nose shaped like a bullet. It didn't just drive forward, it thrust forward. At its heart was the A831 turbine engine, capable of spinning at 44,000 RPM. No spark plugs, no carburetor, fewer moving parts. It was so futuristic that even NASA engineers wanted to study it. But here's where the story gets wild. Chrysler didn't just build one for a show. They built 55 real cars and handed them out to ordinary Americans for a year-long test drive. Imagine your neighbor pulling up in a jet-powered sedan. Your coffee would shake off the table before he even parked. And this wasn't some delicate prototype. The turbine car could run on almost anything flammable. Gasoline, kerosene, diesel, cooking oil, even Chanel. No, 5 perfume. Drivers actually tried it, and the car ran perfectly fine. It was the world's first multi-fuel car, decades before hybrid engines or EVs even existed. The acceleration was smooth, the power endless, and the sound unforgettable. But there was a problem, a big one. Turbines loved to burn fuel, and America loved cheap gasoline. The exhaust was scorching, the noise was wild, and production costs were astronomical. So, in one of history's saddest decisions, Chrysler ended the program. Of the 55 turbine cars built, 46 were destroyed, crushed, melted, erased from existence. Only 9 survived, now scattered in museums, silent but still gleaming. The turbine car was never just about performance, it was about imagination. It was proof that Chrysler dared to ask what if. In a world obsessed with why, to this day, when car lovers hear that turbine whine, they don't hear failure, they hear courage. They hear the sound of engineers trying to make the future roar. And that's why the Chrysler turbine car sits proudly at number 1. Because while others were dreaming about tomorrow, Chrysler actually built it. A car that could drink perfume, scream like a jet, and glide like silk. The future never sounded so good.
People are flocking to see the Oldsmobile B44. They know there's a B44 forever built to be durable, dependable, and economical. The price you're asking about? Far less than you might think. The Oldsmobile B44 dynamic cruiser sells in the field of popular price. And it's a car...